As summer travel heats up, it's a good time to remind ourselves how to act on planes, especially when it comes to proper flight etiquette. So joining us for more on this is Sara Nelson. She is the president of the Association of Flight Attendants Union. Sara, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks, Vlad. Happy to be here.
So we were saying earlier that it's kind of remarkable that in 2023, we're still having discussions about how adults should behave on planes when it comes to just their fellow passengers, but more critically, the people who keep us safe in the air, that is the crew, the flight attendants, and obviously the pilots and the first officers. So just give us a few sort of tips on how passengers, even the question sounds weird. Like, you should treat flight attendants the way you treat members of your own, like the way you treat anybody.
I know.
Like, so it feels weird to be asking you this, Sara, but what tips can you offer us on how passengers should properly behave on an aircraft?
Well, I appreciate the question, and I also appreciate the spirit in which you asked the question. Because really, what we have to just remember is that flying is not something that's done simply. We have a very set of strict rules because we need to be safe, first and foremost. And we're bringing all of humanity into a cramped space. And summer flying has always been a beast. But flight attendants are there to ensure you have a safe, secure flight and to respond to any health emergencies. That is primarily our job on board, to keep everyone safe. We also want to have you to have a good time. There's fewer of us than there's ever been, and summer travel usually means airplanes full to the brim. So every flight will be very full, and we're going to try to keep order and keep everyone following the rules so that we can all get from point A to point B without any incident.
What are some of the more frequent egregious violations that you hear from some of your members?
Well, look, we've had more incidents of violent outbursts, mostly against crew, against other passengers, than we have any time before, say, 2019. Those numbers are still very high. With the compliance of the mask mandate being gone, people think those numbers have gone down, but that was more like people refusing to comply, and we had to report those issues. The issues of violent attacks have still remained way too high. So, of course, keep your hands to yourself. Make sure that you are not causing a problem. If you see a problem starting to arise, don't jump in yourself. Get a flight attendant to the scene as soon as possible. We are very good at de-escalating, and most flights take off without incident because flight attendants are so good at this. But we really do need everyone minding their own space and being aware that you're not just flying for yourself, you're flying with everyone around you. There may also be stressors for other people flying. People are flying for a lot of reasons. Sometimes they're flying because someone is very sick. They're going to get treatment themselves. They are going to a funeral. We have families flying in the summer, which can always be challenging for those families. It really takes a lot of patience, and we encourage people to pack their patience. And also, take a moment to remember that you're around human beings. So when you get on that plane, put your phone down for a moment, meet eyes with the flight attendants on board. Let us know that you're there to be a helper. And that is more likely to mean that your flight is going to be safe and uneventful if everyone is coming with that kind of spirit.
So let me play a bit of devil's advocate for just a little bit, Sara, because you made it an important point that there are stressors that people may be experiencing when they are flying. As the head of a union, I mean, what responsibility does the airline bear? I mean, you've got passengers who feel as if legroom has been taken away. Nothing is offered on flights anymore.
Yeah.
You are operating with fewer flight attendants in the air, meaning that the jobs are doubly hard or even more so for flight attendants. So you've got two groups of people who are trying to make do with very, very difficult circumstances, and the airlines are raking in the cash, and the people who run the airlines are raking in the cash while they're squeezing both you and us every single day. So what kind of conversations have you had with the airlines about perhaps making it a little easier? I know they're not going to necessarily listen to you when it comes to trying to cram more seats in an aircraft. What kinds of conversations do you have about the stressors that the airlines have imposed on passengers that are making them in some cases behave this way?
One thing it's really important for passengers to know is that your travel space is our workspace. And so we want it to be as comfortable as possible. We want to have as many tools to help you as possible. And we also know that the people in the gate area, their staffing has been cut too. A lot of times, the first time that a passenger is interacting with anyone from the airline, it's actually a crew member on board. So we are not just talking with the airlines, we're also talking with the regulators to say, we need to take a look now at the cabin conditions and make sure that the evacuation standards for those cabin configurations are still safe to safely evacuate an airplane if we have to do that. With seats crammed in so close together, with people plugging all their devices in and having all their devices everywhere, people cramming luggage on board because there's a fee to check that luggage, all of those things make the cabin condition much more crammed and much more difficult to respond to an emergency. When we have someone who is sick, it's very difficult to find room to get them the support that they need. These are all the kinds of conversations that we have with the airlines, but we're also having it with lawmakers and regulators to make sure that we're making that cabin environment as safe as possible. Now, I will say one thing. Airline tickets, if adjusted for inflation, were down lower in 2019 than they were when deregulation started at the end of the 70s. And since the pandemic, airline tickets, if adjusted for inflation, are down 4% from 2019. So it's one of the only areas actually where inflation is not really kicking in. Now, where we do see a problem, though, is that the government has not invested in the infrastructure to make sure that we have the proper number of air traffic controllers and towers and systems that are up to date. This year is an FAA reauthorization bill, and we will be addressing those things like that cabin configuration and also making sure that we get proper funding to have enough air traffic controllers to safely operate the number of flights that meets passenger demand.
All right, Sara Nelson, thank you very much. Well, I want you to know that Vlad and I are always perfect passengers because we understand that you guys are keeping us safe, and we appreciate the hard work that you do.
Thank you so much. And chocolate never hurts either. So just remember that.
Remember
All right,
that.
that's good to know. That's good to know.